Hey, it's Minimalist Gourmet, and today we're going to be making a fantastic, rich and savory Japanese curry. This chicken curry has a sauce that's beautifully seasoned and just a hint of sweetness. This is one of my favorite dishes to order, but I was inspired to make this when I was at my local grocery store recently. You can certainly try buying these pre-made roux bases, and I guess they're convenient. But in all fairness, they're not saving you that much time. And I gotta say, when you look at the back here, look at this list of ingredients. My God, we're gonna be using butter, flour, a little bit of curry powder, and some garam masala. So we're gonna have four ingredients versus this, I don't know, 85 ingredients. It's up to you, but I know we can do a lot better. So let's go ahead and go back to my kitchen where we're gonna do exactly that. I'm going to show some prep of vegetables here because the Japanese have a really special style of cutting vegetables for these dishes called rengiri. Sorry about my pronunciation. This is a technique where you cut down at a 45-degree angle, you rotate the vegetable a quarter turn, and make your next cut. This stands for random shapes because you're going to get pieces that look all different, but are relatively the same size and should cook pretty evenly. We'll be repeating the same rangiri technique here to cut our potatoes. The only difference is you do want to cut them in half or maybe even into quarters if you have very large potatoes before you start making your actual cuts. We'll need some garlic that we dice up, as well as a bit of ginger, diced as well, a thinly sliced onion, and one ingredient that might seem a little odd to you is an apple. You're going to take an apple, cut it in half, core it, and peel it, and then grate it. Don't worry if it oxidizes when it sits here as we cook, that's perfectly fine. You can certainly use chicken breasts if you like, but I do prefer thighs in these type of recipes. Check out the description below. I've got a link to my video on how to debone and skin these. While you're down there, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear from you. Cut your chicken into 1-inch pieces, and we're ready to get cooking. Now, unlike Indian curries that blend the vegetable and seasoning base to make it thicker, this Japanese style curry actually uses a French technique of making a roux. I've melted my butter over medium heat and sprinkled in my flour, and now I'm going to mix everything very well and let it cook for just a couple minutes. And if you're curry us, there's always a written recipe with instructions down in the description below. After about 4 or 5 minutes, our roux base is looking beautiful. It's turned a little bit darker blonde color, and this is exactly what we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and add in our spices. We're going to begin with a good portion of curry powder and a bit of garam masala. After adding in our spices, we want to cook this for an additional 2 to 3 minutes to really develop that flavor. Then you're going to transfer all of your roux base into a bowl and reserve that for later. Then take a couple of paper towels and wipe out the bottom of your pot. That way it's clean and ready for us to brown our chicken thighs. We might need to turn the heat up on our pot a little bit to medium high, but I've added some olive oil and I'm going to start browning off my pieces of chicken thigh. Try not to overcrowd your pot too much. If you need to cook these in 2 or 3 batches, that's no problem. I like my chicken just lightly browned in this dish, but if you want it cooked a lot more, that's totally up to you and perfectly fine. So I just cooked my chicken for about 2 to 3 minutes per side. I thought that this looked great to me, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it off at this point. It doesn't matter if it's fully cooked all the way through right now, that's not a problem. The fond, or the little bits of chicken that are stuck to the bottom of the pot, are fantastic and we want to keep them because fond is flavor. So we're going to pour our onions right on top with the remaining oil that's left over from frying the chicken and saute these up for just about 3 or 4 minutes until they're nice and lightly browned. After about 4 minutes, it was time for me to add in my diced up garlic as well as my ginger. Now I cut way too much ginger, which is why you see me only using about 3/4 of it here. After adding the garlic and ginger in, we're going to continue cooking it for about 90 seconds. It should smell super nice and fragrant. Our chicken, along with any accumulated juices, go back into the pot. You know what a hen's favorite style of movie is? A chick flick. Our reserved roux base from earlier goes in, and make sure to scrape out every last little drop of this because not only is it an immense amount of flavor, but we need it to thicken up our broth. Give everything a good stir here, and then we're going to start adding in our chicken stock. Now, I don't have any chicken stock available where I live, so I'll be adding in just some regular cool water and enough chicken bouillon to make this up into chicken stock. The bouillon has enough salt. I won't be adding any extra, but you can adjust your recipe as necessary. Our grated apple goes in, followed by just a little touch of honey. You don't want to make this super sweet, but really this does help complement the other flavors. Also, there's going to be a decent amount of salt in the soy sauce we add in, so account for that. Finally, we're going to add in our cut carrots and potatoes. You want to stir this very well and adjust the heat so that it's at a light simmer and simmer this for 45 minutes uncovered. Give it a gentle stir every 10 or 15 minutes just to make sure that everything is cooking evenly and nothing sticks to the bottom. And while this is simmering, you can certainly play some music if you'd like. In fact, curry loves music. Do you know what its favorite band is? The Spice Girls. After about 45 minutes of cooking, this is what my curry looked like. As you can see, the volume is reduced quite a bit. The only way to tell that it's done, though, is to check the vegetables. I like my vegetables to be just slightly al dente. They're definitely fully cooked all the way through, but not mushy. Just take a piece of potato here and cut it in half with a spoon, as well as a piece of carrot. They should yield like this, but not be mushy. This looks good to me, so I'm going to go ahead and serve it. Now, every time I order this from my local Japanese restaurant, they serve it alongside some rice. Traditionally, it's served with white rice when I've ordered it, but all I had in my pantry was brown rice, because health reasons. Now it's time to taste. If you've never had this style of curry before, it is a little bit different than Indian style curries and is a great option for people who don't like spicy food. This is absolutely jammed packed with flavor, but it isn't spicy hot, say picante. This dish really reminds me of, say, an American style pot roast with potatoes and carrots, but of course it's made with chicken and has that curry flavor. Additionally, the apple and the little bit of honey we put in just really makes a fantastically balanced palette of flavors. And since you guys like this video so much, I'm going to recommend my butter chicken recipe right here. It is phenomenal. I know you're going to love it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week on the next episode of Minimalist Gourmet.